Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Jose, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Hi.
Okay. Good morning. Can everyone hear me and see me?
Yeah,
Okay. Am I audible enough? Just
Yes,
sure.
can hear.
yep, I can hear you.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Amachi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Good morning. I think probably Jose was saying something and I didn't get. I
Yeah,
am
can
so
you hear me now?
sorry. Yes, I can. My speaker was muted. I'm so sorry for all the back and forth we had this morning. Usually I'm not logged into the president's Zoom account. Um, so I had to wake up a couple of people because right now this is like 5:14 in my time zone. So sorry about that. Maybe we'll wait a couple of minutes for those that would be able to join us. Let me see. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, it's me, Esther.
Jose,
Sorry, I was sleeping.
I
Like
know.
I slept like I believe 1 a.m.
I don't doubt it. It's supposed to be a Saturday. I don't know how Thea does this.
No, yeah,
It's
sorry. I
it's
just I just wake up and I saw your message and then okay, let me start.
yeah,
Okay. So
I
you
had
reset?
to yeah,
Reset?
I had to get no, I'm fine. I had to get Cliff.
Oh,
It was weird.
sorry.
So no, it's fine. Thank you very much. I'll just wait a couple of minutes for those that are able to join. I'm trying
Yeah,
to send an email to everybody. Maybe some tried to join and they couldn't.
yeah. I will let you go, but do you have any? No, I don't know. I can text you. It's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And sorry. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you very much. We'll talk later.
Okay. Hey, Amarachi.
Hi, Tiff.
guys have a good class.
You will.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, talk to you, Esther.
All right. Take care. Now, I hope we're not going to have another challenge with the watermark. Okay, I got it. So I am just trying to send an email to everybody that's registered. How many people are we supposed to have in this class, though?
Usually 3 more. Chetna, Gabrielle, and David. And also, what's his name? I forgot.
Emily, I think it's
Emma.
Emily. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, Imal is supposed to be here. I just sent everybody an email. Hopefully, they are able to get it. I am so sorry. Really, really so sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. So from what Imal mentioned, we are on strategy analysis, correct? Or
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
So pardon me, you're getting my 5 a.m. brain. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so I think everybody should have gotten that email. But before we start, I wanted to just go over something really tiny about the strategy analysis. So, did you guys complete strategy analysis or you're just starting?
We already completed 2 exams, but they had some low scores.
Okay, so what do you recommend? Do you want us to go over it again?
Tia said that it will be best for us to go over it again, so we could be a little bit stronger for the next chapter as well, because we are gonna need all of those.
Strategy, exactly. All right. So let me do a recap of what the strategy analysis is. The truth is, at some point in the BABOK, it might look overwhelming or even for the exam itself. Either CBAP, CCBA, or even ECBA, there are times it would look surprisingly overwhelming, but the goal is to pace ourselves. Do you have an idea when you want to take the exam?
September, October.
Okay, that's fine. That's a good pace. All right. So, strategy analysis is one really what I'll call important part. Like Thea said, it flows down to the next what's it called now? Body of knowledge, or the next, would I call it part now? The BACCM concepts and all that. It flows into it. But what it really entails is what's the most effective way to allow this organization reach where they're going to. That's like, what are the steps that it's going to take me as a business analyst to ensure that my organization reaches their desired goal? Now, this is when you are actually dealing with like facts and figures. It doesn't mean that for the other core concepts, we're not dealing with facts and figures. We're still dealing with facts and figures. But this one, strategy, you're dealing with facts, you're dealing with what actually exists, with what actually pertains for that organization. And the beauty of strategy analysis is that you have four tasks in strategy analysis. So while I was preparing for my CBAP, I had a couple of mnemonics. I might not be able to remember them now. But one thing about the strategy is that you have 4 tasks. So maybe it would help you to remember, what do you do if you're coming up with a strategy? Like I said, you have to deal with organizational facts. So what exactly is happening right now? So you are assessing the current state. That's the first task. You want to get your organization to point B. So, but you have to access where they are, if they are even at a point 0 or at a point A. Then when you access what you analyze your current state, that's like maybe point 0 or even point A, then you have to analyze or define what you want point B to be. Point B is where we're going to. Point B is the future state. So we have to define that point, define what it's supposed to look like, define the goals, the objectives that would more or less demonstrate that, oh, we were able to meet this, we were able to solve this, we were able to go through this process to achieve this particular thing, or what needed to change. In point A, we were doing this, but in point B, we would want to stop doing this. Point A was manual, but maybe point B, we want to stop doing this. Then you have done your assessing your current state, you have defined your future state. Then the third is that you have to assess the risks. We know that no journey is like really smooth. You have to move from somewhere to somewhere. You have to assess your risks. Your risks is there, it's in between, or not necessarily in between, it's like the next after, but it's still the intermediary. What are the risks that we're going to incur? Or what are the uncertainties that would very likely happen to make us not to achieve our future state? Every endeavor is a risk. That's the absolute truth. We only need to assess the risks and see. Um, one, okay, let me not jump the gun. So when you're assessing the risks, that's just the third one, the third task for strategy analysis. Then the final one, remember that we're dealing with strategy analysis. So the final task, after we have defined our current state, we've assessed our current state or analyzed our current state, we have defined our future state, we have assessed the risk. Remember that the concept itself is called strategy analysis. So the finalization is that we are able to define what our change strategy is. Those are the 4 tasks in strategy analysis. Does that explanation help?
Yeah, it does. It
Okay.
summarizes each one.
Now, I need,
See,
with what I just explained, I want you to do a recap for me in your own words, how you understand it.
so we have 4 stages. We start out with analyze the current state. We understand what we have, what are our difficulties, pain points, where can we improve. Then we have the define future state, define where do we want to go, what are we actually trying to achieve, what is the, the solution that we can try to work on.
Mm-hmm.
We assess the risks, including the risks of doing nothing, the risk with going with option A, B, C, and we try to balance out which one is the most convenient.
Okay.
Then we go for the change strategy. How are we actually gonna implement the change? How we are gonna actually build what we desire.
Good. Thank you very much. So That is perfect. You already have that understanding. The beauty of it is in the Babok, we have something called input, we have something called the tasks, and we have something called the output. Now, with your understanding, let's not even bother about what the Babok says at this moment. Now, we want to analyze our current state. Are you getting? Let's start with the current state. What do you think would be important for us to have before we even start analyzing the current state? Like, we already know that something is there, and maybe this would now help you go back. You remember the core concept model, the BA core concept model. Now, which of it do you think would start as the foundation before you start analyzing your current state? Something must have happened before you now decide, oh, we need to analyze this current state. There's a problem. We need to do this. So what exactly is that thing?
We have a need.
Exactly. So that need is an input. So you are understanding the flow. You cannot just say, I want to start analyzing. What exactly are you analyzing? What exactly do you want to achieve? Now, you need your need. You definitely need the need. That's a necessary input for analyzing the current state. Now, when you are analyzing the current state, there are different things, there are different techniques, different strategies that we try to look at. But if you're analyzing something, we know that there are reasons. We've identified the problem. We are also trying to dig deep to understand why there's a problem. You now know the problem, but you also want to understand why the problem exists in the first place. Do you get? Now, when you want to analyze why the problem exists in the first place, what do? I don't know if you've heard of something called a SWOT analysis.
Yes, yeah.
So you
That's
have
one.
your strengths, your weaknesses. You are analyzing the current state. What is happening right now? What's the strength of what we're doing? What are the weaknesses? Are there opportunities for us to improve this? Are there threats? Now, SWOT analysis is one of the many techniques. Do you see the way I'm bringing you into the techniques first, but we're still going into the input? So if you want to analyze your current state, you definitely want a need. Then you need to look inward as an organization as to why there's a problem. Then also look outward. When you're analyzing your current state, what are the factors that led to that current state or that influences the current state? That goes to another, what's it called now? Another input, that's internal and external influences. So if you want to remember the internal and external influences, the best way to do it is just remember your SWOT analysis. Remember strategy analysis. If you even want to forget any business analysis technique based on what knowledge area, don't forget that strategy analysis starts from an S. Even though solutions also starts from an S. But strategy analysis starts from an S, strategy. Then you have your SWOT. Your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, threat. And remember, the SWOT analysis is divided into internal. Strengths and weaknesses relate more to internal. Opportunities and the threats are external.
Yeah.
So do you get that picture? Now we've been able to define two inputs. And not just two inputs, we have brought out one technique. Are you getting the flow?
Yep.
Very
The
well.
way
Good.
Yeah.
Now, you now have what is influencing it internally, or what is influencing your current state or even your future state externally. You have those two inputs. Now, the beauty of it is that when you've gotten your need, you've analyzed your internal and external influences. You can't do it in isolation, can you? Where are you going to get all this information from? Who are you going to get all this information from? That should be the better question. You're not just going to be talking to chairs and tables, right? So who are you going to get the information from?
the
The
people
second
in session.
people.
So now for the need, we've identified the why. For the internal and external influences, we've identified the what. The stakeholder engagement approach, which is an input, we are identifying the who. We are dealing with people now. How do we engage them? Now, let me now go back so that I'll bring in more techniques for you to understand. When you are analyzing your internal and external influences, we've talked about the SWOT analysis. Think about it. I want to analyze what is going on right now in that organization. What other technique do you think would work?
Inside the organization, internal.
Let's assume internally now. Within the organization, what do you think would help? Because I need to explain to people, oh, this is what I've discovered is actually happening now. Think about your role as a business analyst. If this is all we're going to do this morning, that's fine. But think about your role as a business analyst. Before you start telling people this is where we are going to, how do you show them where we are?
You mean which technique can we use?
Exactly. We've mentioned business, the SWOT analysis. So let's think of another technique that you think is going to be useful.
Internally, vMost.
Let's start with internally.
Okay, vMost analysis.
The what?
vMost.
vMost.
Vision, mission, objectives, strategy, tactics.
Now, the beauty of that is it would work, but it's not in the BABOK. That is us even making it very technical. Let me give another scenario. I want to analyze what is going on in an organization. As a business analyst, my research skills have to be top notch. Right? It being top notch, I'm sure there are documents in that organization that I must be able to research. Maybe I'm trying to ensure that we move from a manual invoicing to automated invoicing. I need to look at the present invoices that are being created or that are being built manually. So document analysis is going to come in. You are going to analyze past documents. If there are even policies like, remember we talked about the internal, the strengths, the weaknesses. Oh, when somebody signs the invoice, the signature is usually irregular. I had to go back to the invoice to check it out. Oh, it is a regulation in my country that every invoice is supposed to have this. That means there are policies or there are statutory obligations that the organization has to follow. That is also document analysis. You can look at so many documents that will help your understanding of what the organization does now. So you are dealing, remember I said earlier that we are dealing with facts, that we are dealing with objective evidence. So when you're doing that, you do your document analysis. If, for example, the organization has an organogram, like what's it called? Let me think of another word. I think an organogram is clear enough. If that organization has an organogram and we want to shorten the organogram, that organogram, let's not forget, it's a model, right? So if I want to shorten it, that organogram was on its own is what? There's a technique that the organogram kind of falls under. It can be organizational modeling. That means you are modeling what the organization looks like. We need to take out this particular person. They don't have to report to this particular person because there's a director or something like that. So you are modeling that organization. Or if it is even a process, you need to show, I don't know if you've heard of this thing before, where people say as is and to be's. Have you heard those words before?
Yeah, analyzing the processes of the company.
God bless you. Now, as is and to be's, what technique do they fall under?
Gap analysis.
What did you say?
The gap analysis.
Okay, it could be. Now, the pictorial demonstration itself, what does it fall under?
Pictorial.
That's process. That's process analysis, process modeling. Exactly, process mapping. So now, remember, another beauty of it is this. We're defining we're analyzing our current state. I'm going back to the tasks now. When we're analyzing our current state, we cannot analyze our current state without at least having an as is. Are you getting the picture? We cannot define our future state without having at least a to be. Meaning, we would need process analysis, we would need process modeling or process mapping. Do you get the picture?
Yeah.
So now, we've talked through a couple of techniques. What techniques can you remember so far? Remember that we're just we've dealt with just majorly 2 inputs. The third input, we're still going to go into it when we're dealing with people. But now for the need and for the internal and external influences, what techniques can you remember?
SWOT, document analysis.
Good.
Analysis, process modeling, internally post, externally pastel.
Remember our research element?
Research analysis.
That's documents. Yeah, document analysis. We're reading through all the documents. Yes. And if, for example, it's like an organization, like we need to model the organization, that's organizational modeling as well.
Yeah, the org chart. Yep.
Exactly. Then as is and to be's, we're dealing with the process analysis and process model. Do you now see the flow? At least.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Now, the third one that deals with the who, that's the stakeholder engagement. I think it's called the stakeholder engagement approach. Let me check. Let's see. Yes, it's called the stakeholder engagement approach. Now, we are being factual. Let's be real with ourselves. If you want to get information from people on what is happening right now, what are the strategies you're going to use as a business analyst? What techniques would you use?
Sorry, are we in which phase now? Still in the current state?
No. Now we're looking at the third input, which is stakeholder engagement approach. Remember, we have need, we have the internal and external influences. Now we have the stakeholder engagement approach. That's an input.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we want to get that input, if we want to get we can't analyze our current state or even define our future state without people. We need people. So that's for both tasks. If we want to get information from these people, what techniques can we apply or can we adopt? Just think about it. You're dealing with people. What technique do you think would work?
Techniques, workshops, questionnaires.
Perfect. Now, workshops, questionnaires, interviews, focus groups, those are techniques under strategy analysis. Do you see the picture?
Yeah.
So you'd now try to analyze, oh, I'm dealing with people. There's something, there's also a technique called observation. Observation is usually helpful most times when what's it called? You might have some stakeholders that find it difficult to actually communicate with you when you're talking to them. Like they know their jobs. Have you seen those kind of people before? They know their jobs. Like they know it so well if you put them on the job. But if you call them up and ask them, how do you do this? They find it difficult to tell you. Oh, I just do it. Oh, it's just, I just know how to do it. But that's not really an answer, is it?
The tacit knowledge,
Exactly.
things that you do just by heart.
Now, the beauty of it is that if they cannot communicate verbally, I can sit with them and observe how they do things, right?
Observation and shadowing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you get the picture? Now, we've covered so many techniques in just dealing with the inputs to the task. So we have one input, which is need. That's the foundation, that's the problem. We have another input, the internal and external influences. We have the stakeholder engagement approach. That's the who. Then for another input is this. Let me bring it in with this strategy. When you have these conversations with people, with like interviews, observations, you had your to be's, your as is mapped out, you were able to look at all the documents and all that. What do you think you come out with? Like all those things, what are they? Have you heard of something called an elicitation result?
Results, yeah. That's word that I was missing.
Good. Now, all those processes of dealing with the who, you know that they fall under elicitation, right? Like elicitation on its own is another knowledge area. You're bringing in your knowledge from elicitation. Now, the beauty of it is this. You cannot get information from people without processing that information. That's where the beauty of business analysis is. Your elicitation result has to be the raw state, meaning it is unconfirmed. Remember, you don't just base your requirements or whatever you are doing based on one conversation. That's a very big mistake to make in the business analysis world. You cannot say this person told me in meeting A that we take milk. There has to be a confirmation that we actually take milk, either via an email or something. Something should just verify. Oh, maybe I had a meeting with the person. Then after that meeting, I send the meeting notes and I ask, please confirm that everything in this meeting note is correct. And I have it documented that I got an approval. That gives me two levels of elicitation results. The unconfirmed elicitation results and the confirmed elicitation results. Do you get the picture?
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with people, stakeholder engagement approach. After dealing with them, I get information unconfirmed. Then I go to the next step and I have to confirm that information. With that, we have covered 5 inputs in strategy analysis. We went through the need, the internal and external influence, the stakeholder engagement approach. We were able to get the elicitation results, but the ones that were not unconfirmed, then we now went ahead to confirm. That's 5. Does that make it clear?
Yeah.
Now, the beauty of it again is that now I have confirmed something, that this is actually the problem, or this is what we're working with. Now, I am now thinking, I've confirmed that, oh, this is the solution or this is the problem. Fine. In my head, this is where I also now sit down. Remember that, is it possible to get to requirements before designing? Ask yourself that question.
Possible to get requirements before design. Yes.
Now,
But not necessarily the way
yeah,
around.
the beauty of it is this. As long as you are dealing with people, there are people that prefer pictures. There are people that prefer graphs. There are people that prefer POCs, like proof of concepts. Some people prefer prototypes, like you having graphical illustrations. They prefer the 2B models. All those would go under like designs. So everything that you have confirmed from your elicitation results confirmed, you put them in design mode. You put them in design mode. And now, them being in design mode, I'm trying to look for a definition here. Let me see if I'm going to find it. Okay, I can't find it. Hold on. That definition is going to capture what exactly I want to say. Design, let me search through. Okay, good. Design and requirements. Those are the last 2 inputs for the strategy analysis. Design and requirements at times go hand in hand. In the case of strategy analysis, they go hand in hand. Now, I'm going to do a recap. We have our need, our internal and external influences. We have our stakeholder engagement approach. We have our elicitation results unconfirmed. We have our elicitation results confirmed. Now, what do we do with that information? We put it into design. And at the end of that design is prioritized designs. Like, what design do we prioritize as an organization? Now, if you go back to the RADD, I don't know if you guys have gotten there, requirement analysis and design definition, you would get that understanding clearly. At times, and this is not to complicate matters, some persons might design might actually be Amarachi's requirements. Let me give a practical example. I'm working on a project for a particular client. Now, in my head, oh, I'm going to mock up so and so because they are moving from this classification. They are moving from classification A to classification B. In my head, right? I need to map out how it is going to be classified or how the new classification is going to be. But guess what? All they tell me is I just need an Excel sheet, classification A, classification B. Just tell me A is now B. A is now B. That's all we need from you. And all they needed was an Excel sheet. Do you know that in my head, that Excel sheet is one of my design options? But to them, that's the requirements that they want. So there are times you get into those kind of scenarios. Oh, I map out a to-be process model. You've confirmed that that is actually the to-be's, like, and this is what we are dealing with, or this is where we are going to. I've gotten on my verification and validations. They now tell you that, well, as the way you have mapped it out, that's all I need from you. I don't need you to go and write another requirement in textual form. Are you getting the picture?
Yeah.
So they prioritize the design. So an input is prioritized designs and the requirements that we finalize. So I've gone through how many inputs? So if you can do a recap, let me be sure. Let's see how we did. Don't be scared. And if possible, while you're doing your recap, anybody can do this, by the way. While you're doing your recap, try and link it with techniques. Like in your head, oh, there's no how I will get elicitation results confirmed if I don't also interview people or something. Or designing, there's no way I'm going to design without needing something. Or in terms of requirements, there's no way I would get my requirements without this. So try and do that recap before we now touch the output and we wrap it up. We have gone through the tasks in strategy analysis. We've gone through the inputs. We've touched the techniques. We're still coming back to the output. And the output, we are going to link it to the input again. We'll start this journey again. But now I want you to do a recap to be sure that you understand what we're dealing with. Who wants to give it a try? You can make it into a story. But just give it a try.
So we start with the elicitation. We go through workshops, interviews, observation to get to understand what problem are we trying to solve. We communicate with people to get to understand what are their needs, their expectations. We elicit all those requirements, and we make sure that they are verified and confirmed later in order to make sure that we actually deliver something that will solve the problem. We go then to the relationship between requirements and designs. Requirements are what we need to provide. Design is one of the many solutions that we can go with. There's a relationship between requirements and designs. What else? We work with people in order to get the requirements, but we also work with people to get the designs to show them where and how we are actually going to solve the problem. Then we go to strategy analysis, understanding our current state, future state, risks, and how we are going to actually deliver the solution.
Okay, that's your change strategy. Good.
Then we go to the requirements, to the red. We haven't gone through the red yet.
No, yeah.
RADD.
All right.
Gone into that yet.
Okay, good. Thank you. Now, we've covered the tasks. What are the tasks? We analyze our current state. What do you think after analyzing our current state we're going to come out with?
The requirements.
We're going to come out with a current state description. We've analyzed, we are taking the tasks one by one. While we are analyzing our current state, we are coming out with a current state description. We're also going to come out with requirements, right? Definitely. So we're coming out with our current state description and we're coming out with our business requirements. Now, then analyzing the current state and the process that it is going to take us to get from point A to point B. We need to know what the objectives of the organization is in the first place. So we are coming out with our current state description. We're coming out with our business requirements. We're coming out with our business objectives. We also defined our future state as a task, meaning that I am coming up with a future state description. Do you understand? So I'm analyzing my current state, meaning I'm coming out with the current state description. I'm coming out with the business requirements. I'm coming out with the objectives, the business objectives. After I I define the future state, I am coming up with a future state description. Then I'm coming up with a future state description. Now there's another output that is also very important, which is called the potential value. Because you have inputs, you have your current state, you have your future state. That's just definition most times, or not most times. Descriptions. Some people don't have time for all those stories that touch the heart. What they just need is what's the potential value? PV. So you have your potential value. Now, remember, we're analyzing current state, we're defining future state. We're doing what? What's the third task? We're assessing our risks, right? When we assess our risks, we have to come up with something called a risk analysis result. So the beauty of being able to identify your outputs, go back to the task and firstly pick out what is in the task. If you can remember the tasks, paint a story. That story will help you come out with your input and your outputs and your techniques. As long as you can understand the tasks and know that, oh, in strategy analysis, we have 4 major tasks. Oh, in RADD, I have this number of tasks. In this particular knowledge area, I have this number of tasks. It will help you throw everything in place. I cannot tell you that I finished reading the Babok. That would be a lie from the pit of hell. Because the Babok is large. Like, it's a lot of information. Are you getting the picture? So, we do our current state description. We do our business requirements and business objectives. We do our future state description. We have our potential value. We get our risk analysis result. You know, another task is what? We have to define the change strategy. When I finish defining the change strategy, what will I come up with?
Change strategy. And
Remember, we analyzed the current state and we came out with a current state description. I'm also letting you understand how my brain also works. I analyzed the current state, I came out with a current state description. I analyzed the future state and I came out with a future state description. Now, I defined, let's not forget, I defined the change strategy. What am I coming up with?
Change strategy description.
Good. Now, you might not necessarily see that description at the end of it in your exam. But as long as they're asking for what is an output for the defined change strategy, your answer is change strategy. Do you get the picture? So at times, I also play around with the words. Play around with the words as well. There are times you will not remember anything. At times, it's just diplomacy. Oh, I want to analyze current state or define current state or analyze whichever one. What I'm coming out with is current state. Do you get the picture? So analyzing your current state, you're coming out with a current state description. Now you are defining your change strategy. You are coming up with or coming out with a change strategy. The only two things that seem like outlier in this entire story that we've told is the potential value and the solution scope. But don't even let it be like an outlier. If you can remember every other thing, you're kind of good. But remember, you also have to tell people this is the potential value that I'm bringing or that will be out of this particular process or this. Then you give them the solution scope. Solution scope. And with that, we have covered the inputs of the strategy analysis. We have covered the task itself of the strategy analysis. We have covered the outputs and we've covered a couple of techniques. The whole story that we went through today, did it help?
seeing
Very
the
well.
big picture.
Okay. Chitana, do you have any questions or clarifications? And if anybody has any questions, please as well, let me know.
Can I like walk through my understanding of all of this just so that I'm not missing out anything?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So I'm just going to say it, but I just want to highlight like the needs, the tax,
Go
that's
ahead.
the
Yeah,
input, the tax, and the output. So I'm going to do like a walk down.
that's fine.
Okay, so all right. So let's say we have a client and we're supposed to do like a strategy analysis. So our inputs would be the need, the business need. We also have to get the internal and external influence, like understand the internal and external influence, understand the stakeholders involved. That has to do with stakeholder engagement, right? Okay. Then once we have this, in order for us to achieve what we have to do, more like the task, our techniques, I want to walk through it that way, permits me. Our techniques would involve document analysis. We also have to do like the document analysis we have that would help us in the current state analysis, which is the tax, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yep.
So the first tax is the current state analysis, and for us to achieve that, we have to do the document analysis.
Good.
The process mapping, that's to help us understand what's going on. We have to also analyze the stakeholders involved, just so we are able to understand how to elicit requirements, like interview what their needs are and how to approach them. So it's going to be stakeholder analysis just for us to figure out the current state.
Yeah.
Then we also have to the as is and to be technique. We also need that. Okay. So we also need that. We also need okay, so I think that's that for the current state analysis as a task.
Yep. Okay,
Right.
good.
Then the next task we would have is for us to define the future state. I don't know if I'm missing or jumping anything,
No,
but like
you're
let me
on track.
say,
No, you're on
okay.
track. That's the next task.
Okay, great. So once we do the current state analysis, the next thing we are going to do is going to be to define the future state.
Yeah.
And so in defining the future states, it's where we have to get the business objective. I don't know. Okay. So it's where we have to get the business objective. We have to assess risk. I don't know if that's tax or if that's the technique
So
for
the
achieving that.
risks itself is another task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not under assessing business objectives. It's another task on its own.
Okay. Okay, so more like risk analysis. So okay, when we get to the stage where we are analyzing the risk, that's where we have to assess it. Is
Yep.
that correct? Okay. Okay, so at the point where we are defining future state is also where we have to do the requirement elicitation from the stakeholders, more like get their inputs. Okay. So once we are done doing all of these things, then I think that's where we move to the outputs.
Okay.
Where we now get the current state description, the business requirement, the business objective now spelled out, confirmed, the future state description, the potential value, the risk analysis results, change strategy description, and then the solution scope.
Exactly. So that was good. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Is that it?
You're on track. Now, there's something I need to touch. It's something called under the elements, actually. How to identify business needs. This is something you will definitely see in your exam. There are different processes, or there are different levels. You have the top down, like top to down. You have the bottom up. You have the middle management, and you have the external drivers. And I'll explain it. From top to down, as the CEO, I went to a meeting and my competitors, they were talking, oh, we've implemented this in my organization. I did not talk during the meeting. No, I didn't even do like I heard them. As the CEO, I now came back. I said, well, hello, people. This organization is doing this. We need to do this as an organization. Where did that business need come from? It came from two sources, actually. So what are the two sources? External influence. Because he wouldn't have known if he didn't go to that meeting, right? So the business need came from external influence, external driver. Then it now went to another level. It came directly from the CEO. That's from top to bottom. Now, at times, we can get our need from the bottom up. And that one comes with more of a problem.
A practical solution needed.
And we just need, like, we are the ones doing this work. We know that there is a problem. We have identified that need. That need has to be met. So that need came from bottom up. Do we get the picture? So a need can be identified from top to bottom. A need can be identified through external drivers. A need can also be identified bottom up. Then it can also come from middle level management. And when it comes from middle level management, a manager wants to meet his KPIs, maybe his departmental KPIs. Oh, I think if we're using this particular tool, it's going to improve our efficiency as an organization. Let's implement it in this department. That is middle management drive or middle management need. So there are 4 ways to identify a business need: external drivers, top to bottom, bottom to up, then middle management. Does that help?
Yes, the strategic environment, the operational environment, and then
Exactly.
the
The
middle.
tactical.
Yeah. Then
Exactly.
in the middle,
Management.
the objectives, what
Mhm.
the link between the top strategy and
Mhm.
the operational tactical strategy
Then the external
and the external
sources. Yeah, good.
markets, competitors, political.
Okay, good. Now, let's do this again. When you're looking at the solution, we have to really analyze that. Is this organization capable to handle this change? We have to look at the capability and the process. These are an element, by the way. And some of the elements, the business need is an element. The organizational structure and the culture is also an element. Now, you might see this in your exam. When you're dealing with business capabilities, there are two. There are two important things. So, as a business analyst, if I want to assess the capability and the process of an organization, I can use a capability-centric view, or I use a process-centric view. That might make it complex or hard, but let's break it down. Now, we want to move from do you guys know QuickBooks? Okay. Do you know SAP?
Yeah.
You know those two softwares, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, in my company, this is an example. I decide that we were using QuickBooks. Now we have operations in about 15 countries of the world, meaning we are dealing with multiple currencies. I don't think QuickBooks is efficient. QuickBooks is good, but maybe we need more technical processes and we want to migrate to SAP. Realistically, I know that there is going to be a process to move, right? We are going to do a lot of migrations and all that. That's the process-centric view. Now, my people are so good with using QuickBooks, they've never used SAP before. Isn't there a problem? Do I have the capability for SAP? Because even if I do the migration, there's going to be a problem, right? So, how do I improve the capability of my people? Or, for example, SAP QuickBooks is charging us maybe $15,000, and SAP is charging me $30,000. That's times 2. My profit is $2,000. As a company, am I financially capable to take on that expense of moving to SAP? No, because we don't have the money, except if we now want to incur debt and all that. So there are times you look at some needs with a process-centric view or a capability-centric view, and there are times you use both because you need to be real. We want to do the future. This is our future state, but let's be real. Oh yeah, do we have the capability, or do we have the process that can sustain this change? That's an element. Do we get that picture? Then, to wrap it up,
Yep.
go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of like making a puppet model.
Exactly. Now, there is no way. You remember we talked about one of the output, potential value. Sorry, we don't have the time. We would have gone over the calculations. When you're dealing with potential value, you're going to do a bit of financial analysis. That's also a technique. But potential value itself is an output. That's when you start calculating your net benefits, increase and decrease in value, and all that. So there is a calculation or a computation bit. If I remember correctly, I actually had some financial analysis in my CBAP. And this was maybe 3 years ago. I can't even remember. God help me. So potential value, you're going to do a bit of financial analysis. But now let's look together at the stakeholders involved in strategy analysis as we wrap up? From all the conversations we've had, name the stakeholders you think will be involved in strategy analysis. Just think about it. Who do you think should be involved when we're dealing with strategy? We're analyzing the current states and all that. Who should be involved?
Ideally, we would have everyone represented, but dealing with strategy rather than operation, it will be more like middle to higher management.
Okay. Remember that we also have external drivers, right? So whether we like it or not, external drivers is one of the inputs. Opportunities and threats. The opportunities can actually come from, or even the threats can come from regulatory agencies, right? So, or for example, so looking at our stakeholders, we have our customers, definitely, the domain subject matter expert. Oh, in this particular industry, this particular product might work if we do it this way. You're going to need a domain subject matter expert. That person has the knowledge of this domain, knows this domain very well. Now, this is the solution we want to bring. You need an implementation subject matter expert. A solution doesn't come up in isolation. Most times when you have anything solution in any of your knowledge areas, note it, one stakeholder that you might need is an implementation subject matter expert. Because you cannot have a solution without implementation. Like, you want to work towards a solution, you need somebody to implement it. That's what I'm saying. So you're going to need a customer, a domain subject matter expert, an implementation subject matter expert, an end user, definitely, a regulator, that's the external bits, might be based on government regulations and all that. You would need your sponsor, definitely. You would need a project manager, definitely. You need a supplier, especially if it has to do with goods, like you need to purchase services or something, you need a supplier. Because if you have like 5 suppliers, they need to know why they are going with a particular supplier. What are the benefits? What's the potential value of going with this particular supplier? That's another angle. But okay, let me not say potential value. Now, then the tester. Oh, when we finally do this or implement this, this is what we're going to use to test. Or this is the person that will test. To be sure that we have something. So with all these few points of mine, have we been able to establish strategy analysis as a doable concept for the BABOK?
Yes.
Okay. So I was supposed to teach this class again next Saturday, but unfortunately, nope, I won't be here. So the only thing I can say is I'm going to be taking the class again on Thursday. That's after the CBAP study group. If it's something you're interested in and you want us to cover something, or you have a couple of maybe questions, you can actually still join that Thursday class. I know it's going to be really uncomfortable, but you can try to join and I'll see how to answer any of the questions that you have. But are we good for today?
Okay. Yeah. Can you send a link to the Thursday class, because we don't have it. Send it
Okay.
on the thing. What's his name?
Slack? On the Slack
Slack.
channel?
Yeah, Slack is excellent. Yeah.
Okay, I would do that. I didn't know you guys had a Slack channel. I'll check it out. I'll check it out and I'll let you know. All right. Any questions from me before I call it? And I'm so sorry for the time lag. This is already 6:26. I'm definitely going to go back to bed after this. But do we have any questions?
No. I actually mentioned to Tia that I will be a little bit late, so because I had an exam before the class.
Oh, that's fine.
So
Thank you. Chitana, I didn't hear you say a word today. Are you okay?
Sorry, I have a toddler, so I'm being on the muted
It's
mic.
fine.
I'm listening in.
All right. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Likewise.
Okay.
I am yet to go through the recording from the last session. I have missed out. So I'm finding it a little difficult to join the dots, but I will go through the recording again once more.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, then. Amarachi, do you have any questions before?
No questions. Just to say it's really nice having you because you
Thank
really
you.
dissected, like giving our short timeline and what you've done. It's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. What I'm going to do is send you a document that might be helpful. Let's see. Maybe when you take a look at the document, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. See if it's something that will be helpful. Then you can share with the others.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. So that document actually helped me break down because I can't go over the BABOK. It's 1,000,001 pages. I don't know. I can't remember how many pages. So I had to get different resources that broke it down to simpler formats. So some people already had study notes that was helpful, and I just used that. So I'll share it with you, then you'd see what your thoughts are.
Is that
All
more
right,
for
no.
revision, or do you suggest that, running through that is going to be summarizing important details from the BABOK?
So it's summarizing it, then it's giving you an opportunity to be pictorial or bring out a story, a realistic story, or a realistic situation or scenario from it. I just shared it with you, Amarachi. So it just shortens everything, but it gives you descriptions. So maybe when she takes a look at it and if she sees how
Okay.
useful, then maybe it will be helpful as well.
And Amarachi, would you be sharing that on Slack?
Sure, yeah, I can.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, people. Have fun and have a good rest of your day.
Have a
Thank you
good
again.
sleep too.
Happy weekend. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.